Well, folks, we're thrilled to have an opportunity to talk to Dr. Temple Grandin. What an honor to be able to speak with you, Dr. Grandin. We're here at the Franklin Ag Center. We're here at the TCA Convention.
Yep.
What keeps bringing you out to these over the years?
Well, I really like talking to people. We've got to get young people interested. I mean, I'm doing a lot of speaking now and really emphasize talking to young people, get them interested in the industry. They're going to be tomorrow's leaders. We need to be encouraging them.
Now, I know you've been here a few different times over the years. What do you like about coming to Tennessee and talking to folks on the ground here?
I always like talking to the people that are out there working with the animals. Another thing I've been talking about is different kinds of thinking. I'm an extreme object visualizer. Everything I think about is a picture. That's one of the things that helped me in my work with animals. Object visualizers are also super good at inventing mechanical devices and repairing them. And I'm very concerned the educational system is screening out us visual thinkers because we're terrible at higher math. I worked with people that couldn't do algebra, but they invented all kinds of mechanical stuff that's used in beef plants. And I have a book, Visual Thinking, where I talk about the different kinds of thinkers. Another kind is more mathematical engineer. And then you have word thinkers. Now let's say you're designing a beef plant. The object visualizers do all the mechanical things, but we need the mathematical engineer for the refrigeration. That requires a lot more math. So you can see how these have complementary skills. And right now, a lot of our good visual thinkers are retiring out. We don't have people to fix things. Also, there's a lot of equipment that's not being made here because it's screening out the visual thinkers. Chicken processing plant, equipment coming in from Holland, tire plant, concrete, precast concrete, big stationary mixers. Those are coming out of Italy and Germany. I was just at that trade show talking about the different kinds of mines. And I was surprised last year I went to a hay show and big haying equipment they wouldn't even use in Europe was coming out of Europe.
Wow.
It goes back to the educational system. In ninth grade in Europe, they can go tech or university.
Okay.
And we have a tendency to think that tech is not as intelligent. It's a different kind of intelligence. You see, in engineering, you need both the visual thinkers and you need the mathematical thinkers. And right now, everything's geared towards the math.
Right.
But right now, we've got problems with finding people to fix things. A plane recently made an emergency landing at the Denver airport, engine fire at the gate, 2 parts were installed wrong. Okay, you're a really good visual thinker, would have installed those parts correctly.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing that you bring up, and it's so important, is that inspiring the youth to follow in the generational footsteps and farming and cattle and all that.
We've got to have these things. What people don't realize is 20% of the world's land can only be grazed. It doesn't have enough water. And if we graze that land correctly, we're going to improve that land. You get out west, if you don't graze the land, the woody shrubs will take over. That will be a fire that's going to be so bad, I don't even want to think about that. Well, we need these people on the land, managing it right. I'm very pleased that more and more people are getting interested in rotational grazing, where you improve land. I'm seeing all the ads now for the virtual fences. That's going to make it easier, but I want to emphasize to people, you have to take the time to train your cattle to virtual fences. They're not automatic management.
What's your favorite part of coming out to these types of events?
Well, I just like people saying, oh, I designed one of your corrals, used one of your corrals that worked, or my autistic kid's got a great job because of one of my talks. That's what makes me happy, because I want to find practical ways to make things better, and I want to emphasize that as far as autistic kids go, they can come in, visual thinker, build anything, terrible at higher math, or a mathematical mind, and in all kinds of projects you need both kinds of thinkers working in a complementary manner.
Now, I know you're always on the go, always doing things, but do you ever take a few moments there and again to think back at what you've accomplished in your life and how you've inspired people?
Well, I've got a book there, the Grandin papers. That's all of my best journal articles with a little foreword as to why I chose them. But I want to help the people that think differently be successful, and we need these kinds of minds. I don't want to be on an airplane with it has 2 parts of the engine installed wrong. You see, that's where we need to have the visual thinkers.
Well, as somebody who flunked algebra, had to go through summer school.
I'm one of the ones that I failed the SATs in math, and then I find out that we've got all these wonderful guys in the shop that are retired now that invent equipment, big patent portfolio,
Right.
but it's all mechanical devices,
Yeah.
things they can visualize, and all these algebra requirements, you're screening them out. Now, there's math you have to do specific.
Right.
Okay, size of hydraulic cylinder, I can learn that math because then I see the hydraulic cylinder. That's related to something real.
What do you say to folks that are younger that are looking at this or thinking about, could I make a career out of
Well, let's
going
think the things
into-
they're good at. You see, in young children, let's say elementary school, 3rd or 4th grade, visual thinkers like art, if they're given tools, like to build things. What I'm seeing is a lot of young people are building fantastic things with Legos. I think that's wonderful, but they need to graduate the tools, and that is not happening. Because those Lego builders would be very, very good with tools, but they're not getting an opportunity to use them. We've got to start working with these kids young. I have talked to some of that's consulting with the Bechtel Corporation, and they're concerned about some of their skilled craftspeople that you need to put together these big complicated projects. Where are they going to get them? I said, we've got to start getting into elementary school kids that building things is fun.
Wow.
And the other thing is, kids get interested in things they get exposed to.
Okay.
When you take kids out on farms, so they see animals. I realize we can't take little kids on construction sites, I know that. But there are safe ways, places where they can watch,
Right.
where it's safe. They can talk to the guys outside the gate.
Well, and the thing is, like today, we've got down here in the arena, we have so many things that people can walk through and see and touch.
Little
and
kids
do.
need to be looking at this stuff. Because if you don't show kids things, they don't get interested. I get asked all the time, how did I end up getting interested in the cattle industry? I came from back east. I went to my aunt's ranch in Arizona when I was 15. Exposure. To get kids interested in something, they've got to be exposed to it.
Right.
Starts out with exposure, then good teachers and mentoring.
Well, like I said, you found something that spoke to you, opened doors, and look at the wonderful life that you've had and the inspiration that you've created for so many people.
Well, and I just right now, I'm mainly doing a lot of speaking because we need these different kinds of minds. And we're getting them screened out. And we need the visual thinking mind that's poor in math is good at art, mechanical, working with animals because animals are sensory based, and also photography. I have talked with a lot of TV photographers, still photographers. They were that kid in school, failing math. Then you need your mathematical minds. They think in patterns. And the first step is realizing these different kinds of thinkers exist and they can work together in complementary manners. Well, I'm also concerned in scientific research, all kinds of fancy statistics, but you're doing a meat quality experiment and you don't tell me what you fed your chickens or your cattle, and that's going to affect your meat quality. They're not telling me all the methods. But you see, when I look at the methods section of a paper, I see it. There's also concerns right now with doctors and veterinarians on clinical skills. Okay, we do a zillion tests, all these algorithms, but there needs to be more emphasis on the stethoscope. But the visual thinker who's poor at math is going to be the person that'll be the master of the stethoscope. Because as they listen to things, they can visualize what's wrong with the person or the animal.
Wow. Well, it has been awesome to spend time with you. It's so great to have you here in Tennessee, and I hope you have a great day.
All right, well, thank you so much for having me.